So a very warm good evening to all the educators, those who have joined us today. I, Pooja Yaduvir, Director Academics and Content from Team GSLC, would like to welcome you all on board this this series of webinars that we have planned throughout the month of September. This is the first episode of the four episode series that we have planned ahead for you. To brief you about GSLC, which is a renowned name nowadays, Global School Leaders Consortium. It is a global community of school leaders, which was started with an aim to facilitate the synergy of ideas amongst the schools across the boards for excellence in education. Mr. Pankaj Sharma as founder and CEO and Mr. Sunny Lalwani as co-founder and CBO have been constantly creating efficient spaces for offering services to bring about substantial changes in the educational field. And our partner for this series of discussion is AeroBay. To brief you about AeroBay, I would like to share that as they say that our proud nation stands on the shoulders of our youngsters, and this new India is propelled by the fuel of its innovative entrepreneurs. One such example in the field of education is AeroBay. Started by 4 passionate, aspiring edupreneurs, AeroBay stands at the brink of innovation and creativity, emerging as a flag bearer in the otherwise pale edtech market. The journey in the past 3 years is a testament that exemplifies growth and reach, which is nothing short of a miracle. From Shark Tank, Horses Stable, Best Startup Awards at AIM Dubai, Maharashtra's State Innovation Mission to successfully impacting more than 120 schools and 25,000 students across India, AeroBay's wings have been spread elegantly. They provide STEAM-based experiential learning solutions to the K-12 ecosystem and provide a complete umbrella ecosystem for schools through their innovative lab setups, expert faculties, national and international competitions, certifications, and takeaway kits. With a product-first approach, they integrate the school curriculum and cover skill subjects, NEP guidelines on experiential learning, and even provide internships and entrepreneurship offerings to the students. So we will be having this discussion on the topic, which is, of course, the buzzword nowadays, the youthpreneurship, the launch pad for young achievers. Before I begin this session, I would just like to inform all our educators that I request you all to kindly put yourself on mute throughout the session. In case you would like to share your inputs, your insights, kindly do that through your chat box. We would love to know your suggestions and your inputs. This feedback form and the certification link will be shared 5 minutes prior to the meeting closing. We will share it with you. Please be rest assured. And now, coming back to our session today and to take the topic forward, I have amongst us my esteemed panel. So we have with us Mr. Saurav Sinha, Principal, Mayo College, Ajmer. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Ms. Tejaswi Butta, CEO, Meridian School, Hyderabad. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
Ms. Aarti Awasthi, Director, Principal, Sri Ram Centennial School, Agra.
Welcome, and good to be with you all today.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us. And we have Ms. Neha Chauhan, CEO and founder, AeroBay, as one of our panelists as well. Welcome, Neha.
Thank you so much. And hello, good evening, everyone. Really excited to be here today. Want to learn so much, share my experiences. I'm really sure it's going to be a very good, the overall program structure, the panel will be with all the esteemed panel. So thank you so much, Pooja.
Thanks, Atan. And I will be moderating this session. The session is timed out to 1 hour. We hope to begin on time and finish it on time. In case if there is a spillover, kindly stay back with us. It will always be an amazing takeaway for you all to take back home. So now, without wasting any further time, and to understand that how entrepreneurship has become an integral part of the curriculum of the student of today's age. However much we think that there are conventional job opportunities, they are the ages old uh, understanding and having looking forward to jobs that are 9 to 5 jobs, a sudden wave of entrepreneurship has definitely set in and changed the complete face of how the youth of this decade thinks. So to explore it further, I would like to pose my first question to Aarti ma'am. Uh, Ma'am, we all are from the educational background. We have seen the change. We've seen the paradigm shift that has happened from a complete rote learning to experiential learning to play-based learning. And now we are definitely diving into hard core understanding of the skill-based learning. Keeping that thing in mind, ma'am, in what ways do you think can the entrepreneurship-based education, which enhances and supports entrepreneurship, it can help us enhance and integrate with traditional academic subjects? So how can they both have that amalgamation? So over to you, Aarti.
Thank you, Pooja. See, from an educationist point of view, if I see the entrepreneurship education is very significant because it helps us to enhance, integrate traditional academic subjects were just from content. We were just studying the content, but we've moved from content to competencies. It's not that one fit all. I mean, each student has a different fit. So there are many different things which the children have, and they have very different curiosities, questions in their mind. So when we talk of this, these subjects which we have are there, they have been there, but the approaches to them has changed, like the methodology, the pedagogy is changing. So is this, with getting this, integrating this, at least we have the real prompting towards the practical part of, or the application part of it, and connecting it with the real world concepts. See, each and every concept we study, if it is not connecting to what we're going to be using today, it gets very difficult for the student also to understand why are we doing it. I mean, if we're not going to. So from the very beginning, if we start inculcating that, so it actually, if we see from the student's point of view, it actually sets up, develops their mindsets and skills to identify, add skills to identify opportunities, then solve problem solving creatively. I mean, a problem can be solved in a very simple manner. Supposing you have not been to school and you want to know what work was done during your absence. Now, there are two ways of doing it. One is sit down and copy down everything. And the other thing is to get it photo stated. Now you've got the photo state copy of the entire content done. But now this also will differ. If it's a maths, this thing, you get it photo stated, you have not learned because maths needs practice. So for every different subject, we need to have a different approach to lead to where we are. Then that's how they will think creatively whether we should do the maths work. Now the child decides whether he has to copy or he has to do the photostating or he has to practice. Then and when they start doing this, when you start using your mind, you start getting new ideas also. So these ideas will also add to something more creative, and maybe it helps another child to solve a different issue at the same time. Then innovation also comes in, how we can innovatively do the same work. Then we have resourcefulness also. There's a lot of resource which we get through this, and we manage to understand, and the child also knows that if it's not, supposing the photostat is also not there, then how will he do it? He can just take pictures and take it home also. See, you have a mobile app today. If it's not photostated, you don't get the printouts, but you can also take pictures and take away. So that's how differently the child thinks of doing the same thing. So that where is, and then this encourages them to do small projects. It could be like starting something, like there was a concept where these children were planting trees. Now we told them that if you sow the seeds and the trees grow, you can give it to people to plant them. Now, if you give something without a cost, because you put in that effort, so you can value that effort into money. You can say charge of 5 rupees, and hand it over to other people because they will pay you. So freebies, I mean, everything is free, does not, people don't value it. But when you put in some money, you also know that you grew that small seed, you sowed it, it blossomed, and then you have given it to grow further. So that connect is also built. So what you start from the beginning goes. Then it also helps the real world, because tomorrow, I mean, today there are students where it's provided by the parents and the teachers in the school are helping out. What about tomorrow, when they're into this big wild world, which you say? I mean, it's not easy. So these children go out. So for that also, entrepreneurship in itself is very important because they know how to handle themselves first. It's not just doing a business. If you don't handle yourself first, how are you going to do anything else? So it helps you to do a lot of problem solving also. See, integrating skills like maths, it's very important. I mean, any part of the day we have mathematics into it. We have science into it. We have social. Now, science could be how things are done. So, geography or social studies help you how in society with the nature around us, how we can manage things, because places differ, people differ, languages differ, and way of living also differ, because your topography and the landscapes also differ. Now, if we integrate mathematics, science, and they can create some small business models. Supposing you have to have, supposing you want to sell hot tea. A hot tea could be a very good prospect, which is in a colder region. But if it is doing in the warmer place, you will not have that many people. So they know according to the temperature of the place what to use, and even they understand what clothes would they wear. Because at a very early stage, if they identify these things, it helps us then. Then there's a cross-disciplinary learning, which we are doing. The interdisciplinary learning, cross-disciplinary learning we are doing. So if we take subjects like maths, maths would actually teach us how to do budget, how to price something, or what is, if we are selling something at this cost for so many, for a certain period of time, we can, or your financial literacy also grows from here only. So we can do that. Now, language, if we talk of language, if you don't know how to communicate, communication is the major thing. If you're not able to send your ideas across, or you're not able to give the other person, convince the other person, now that's all done by the pick and choice of words you're using and the tone of your language, the modulation. So all that also helps you to understand. Then we come to social studies, which I just said, understanding the market, the terrain, the kind of people, the dialect also comes in. And now we are not talking of just a small thing. We are talking of global citizenship. So it goes far and wide. I mean, any child sitting here knows what's happening in the other part of the world. We are so well technologically connected and we know about those things. So that also becomes very, very important for us. Now, enhancing soft skills. Again, if we talk of soft skills, again, language comes in, which is English, Hindi, whatever language you're talking of. Then your sciences again comes in. Why? If you become confident into these, then your leadership quality grows into you and communication gets better. You're able to collaborate because you understand different languages. Or then your group projects, I mean, you can connect with somebody in a different part, and or even in different schools. Like sometimes we have these events inter-school where they make a group of students from different schools and they have to collaboratively do something. So this is how we are actually encouraging those aspects into the children. Now, practical application, what we just talked to, you said of STEAM and STEM we are talking of. So when we talk of STEM, we were talking of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics into it. And without that is one part of it, which we've already studied and I mean, discussed earlier also. Now we create products or services which have to look better also. So the art part comes into it. So from STEM, we went to STEAM. I mean, we're evolving from time to time. Now, with art and design and technology coming to it, so the creativity and innovation, that is also growing into the children. Then this sometimes also helps them to think beyond the books. I mean, it could just not be what they're doing in the books. They have to be beyond the books. Like if I give you an example, I mean, I have always loved social science and I've been teaching it also for the simple reason, because my teacher never taught me geography in the classroom. We would look forward for ma'am to come into the class and we would line up and we would go outside. And since I'm a born brought up here in Lucknow, she would take us out in the field because at times we had huge campuses. She would show us trees, everything she showed us, the clouds. I mean, even today I can identify the different clouds, which people still wonder what were the names. They might have forgotten. But I haven't, because my connect to that subject was so strong. And that also helped me to understand many things because I traveled to many places. Now, whenever I go to a place, I mean, I know because it is a hilly place. So when the altitude, how the oxygen is getting affected, why am I breathing heavily? Yeah, so that's connect which has been into us. So that is the kind, and that actually was a kind of entrepreneurship which we learned, but not calling it as a subject, but it got integrated and embedded into us. Now with this we will build into financial literacy also, which again we've been talking of, and which is of course a very, very important aspect, because whatever money we have or whatever we earn, if we are not able to, even it is not money, it is these resources, it is the skills and the money. Three things, if we have with us and we're not able to judiciously use it, then we are not even growing. So we may be a stagnant place. So they should understand how, when, and why to use it. Then we come that all these things together, I think they're aligning us with the 21st century learning, teaching, learning skills also. And if the child learns it well, is able to adapt to it, then he is able to put himself in the society or in a group or stand out. That's how they are able to create a place for themselves. So if we talk of entrepreneurship, it's just not spending and making money or doing a startup. A startup can be you yourself. So the first startup is you yourself and how you're going to represent yourself in the society and or the global or in your country, city, school, wherever you start, a small beginning to where you stand globally. That is where entrepreneurship always comes into it. So that's what I wanted to talk about it, Pooja. Thank you so much.
Wow, thank you so much, ma'am. And in fact, I think this has been the beautiful expression about what entrepreneurship is and the startup is, as you mentioned, that the startup is you first. And then of course, then it can take its tangible form, but intangibly, if we talk about it, then it is us, the first investment has to be for yourself, and that is how you grow. That is how you are going to actually become a successful entrepreneur. And as you mentioned, that the connect is definitely very important, ma'am, all the subjects. And I will totally agree with you. Even my history teacher would never carry a book, and she would just tell us in a story form. So we were always in that story land and visualizing each and every episode that was happening there. And I think that is one of the core areas of entrepreneurship, where you become a part of that dream, a dream that you would like to achieve. And how to achieve that dream is the path which needs to be curated along with your mentors. So thank you so much, ma'am, for helping us understand how we can integrate this beautiful skill into our traditional curriculum. So now my next question is for Saurav, sir. So we've understood about how the schools can integrate entrepreneurship as part of their curriculum. So going ahead, definitely taking it a step further, can you help us understand that how can schools effectively partner with the industry leaders and successful entrepreneurs to bring a real world innovation and entrepreneurship into the classroom? Making learning more relevant and inspiring, because then they will have the hands-on experience. So over to you, sir. Sir, you're on mute.
I thought I unmuted myself. Hello. I'll answer this in a couple of parts. I think, firstly, when I was thinking about this question, I don't know what role an entrepreneur is going to play in curriculum development. You know, most entrepreneurs are so busy with their own lives that sparing an hour a month or something like that, they're not really going to be involved in anything. I think to expect entrepreneurs to be effective, I mean, have something effective or significant contribution in the way the classes are run is unrealistic. However, the second part of the question, I'll come back to entrepreneurs later, but industry leaders for sure, so I mean, I'll tell you some examples which we're doing here. We've been, like many other schools, Microsoft champion school for the last 4 years or 5 years now. In fact, next month, we're doing something with Adobe, especially for design and, how to, just to get an understanding of what the design world is. Because, I mean, till a few years ago, people, or parents even now, think that if you want to become a designer, they imagine you in a kurta pajama with a satchel on your shoulder and sort of making paintings and stuff. Whereas design has now evolved into such a scientific process as well. Artistic design, I'm talking about graphic design and the businesses associated with it. So we're doing that. I think that is really the key, because what happens is that entrepreneurs, what the role entrepreneurs can really play is as idols and as motivators. Even there, I find that sometimes children being children, they will take the wrong message. So a lot of kids say, I want to be like him because he drives a Ferrari, right? Or I want to be like him because he has 5 houses, or he's married this actress, or anything random like that. I think it's important to get social entrepreneurship into schools and into our curriculum. And those skills will then transfer into commercial entrepreneurship, because even if entrepreneurs, I'm talking about business entrepreneurs, even if they, whatever little time they have, they would rather spend time with undergraduates and people who have reached a certain level of maturity and sophistication in thought. A 14, 15-year-old, apart from the odd prodigy, is not going to really add value to his ecosystem. So whatever he's going to do from a CSR perspective, which will often be limited. I think the way really is to tie up with a lot of social entrepreneurs. I read this book a long time ago called Leaving Microsoft to Change the World. It was about this guy who basically, he was the head of sales for Microsoft when Microsoft was the biggest company in the world. I think it is again now, but at that time, around 20 years ago, and he went for a trek to Nepal, and he saw a lot of schools there, and he realized that they didn't have books. So just out of a sense of charity, he started from his backyard, he started a book collection drive, which then amassed to so much that literally every day he was getting thousands of books. So in that, he's written very clearly. That was the first example of where I remember where you move from social work, or the NGO kind of space, to social entrepreneurship. And he talks about how in detail he prepared business plans before asking for money from anyone, because no matter how rich you are, you still want to know your money is going somewhere. And that in itself will teach you a lot about business. I mean, of course, along with that, there are lots of things which are beyond the purview of this question, of course. But I mean, you have to have entrepreneurship, design thinking courses, and you have to have entrepreneurship competitions, and I mean, mini Shark Tanks is what we call them sometimes here, because kids like that format. But that's beyond this. I think the role of the entrepreneur really, of the social entrepreneur, and social entrepreneurs, the good thing is that they always need more support. I mean, it's not a good thing, but I mean, for us, it's a good thing. So they're ready to sort of reach out to you if you reach out to them. So we are in the process, in fact, I met someone at the GSLC conference in Goa, and we followed up with them, and we're trying to see how we can get our children involved in a chapter of theirs in this area, so which effectively will mean raising funds as well. So you raise funds, you make a plan. How are we going to, how many people are we planning to reach? What is the cost? Therefore, how many people will we need? Therefore, what are the funds we need, and where are we going to get them? And that is, in essence, is what entrepreneurship is about, apart from the bright idea, of course, that you have to have. And the ideas are aplenty. The other thing, we are blessed to have 150-year legacy, 149 years legacy, because of which we have illustrious alumni in almost every field. So we do use a lot of our alumni for internships, and people go and go and see what life is about. That works really well. Also they get inspired and also see it's all right to say I want to be an entrepreneur, but I mean, it's not an easy job. We only hear of the successful ones, right? And so it's important. What we're doing. So, for example, there's an entrepreneur, a scientist really, who's a medical entrepreneur, and he's talking about how we can create a lab which is going to mix sort of design thinking, uh, commerce, for lack of better word, so business studies, let's say, and biotechnology. Because I mean, biotechnology, he feels is the next big thing. I mean, in India, we're focusing a lot on AI, but AI is the software. The robotics is going to come from biotechnology eventually, right? So that's one of the areas we're looking at. Also, I feel, like the previous speaker spoke, that there's so much that we learn in any case. I think if risk taking, as I always say, the school has to allow risk taking, not just talk about risk taking. And of course, I I understand that the biggest impediment to that are parents, because like I like to say, there are always boxes beyond boxes. So you say think out of the box, but then you find yourself in another box. So but we have to balance that. And I think what is also, just the last point I'd like to make, is that it's important that while we always call these successful poster boys for entrepreneurship, as educators, we must also expose our children to people who have tried entrepreneurship and failed, and how they have got on with life. Because let's face it, statistics say that the greater chances of your project failing are of it failing than they are of succeeding. And to convey to them that that's not the end of the world. I mean, it's always, I mean, like they say, it's you'll always regret the things you didn't do in life more than the ones you did do. So it's always good, if you have a passion, to try it out. And I think that's something else as well. So if you're going, a lot of time, the risk really, the family pressure and everything will make you stop from pursuing your entrepreneurial passion. But if we can explain to them, give them examples, get them to be exposed to certain people who haven't, and there's no shame in trying something and not succeeding, because we all know there are many factors which are beyond our which are not in our hands, which determine your success or failure, everything else being equal. So I think these are really the things that we need to partner with. But again, I'll go back to saying that, I really feel that if we depend on entrepreneurs really, then we'll be waiting a long time. I think we need to create entrepreneurs, and we need to do that through social causes and projects like that. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you so much, sir. Definitely, it is also said that if you want to change the system, you have to be in the system. So, of course, I think as educators, that is the reason we keep having these kinds of discussions, bringing about these kinds of topics, so that although we might have the solution in our individual heads, but when it comes across in such a forum, we always find some amazing solutions. And one very beautiful thought brought out by you, sir, which is about risk taking. I think that is like a mandate right now, should be a mandate, because until unless the schools, the parents, as well as the children are not ready to take that plunge, we will definitely always be in that box, and it will be difficult for us to explore new ideas. Thank you so much, sir, for giving us such strong takeaways. And you already set course for my next question for Tejaswi ma'am, to help us understand that entrepreneurship, at times, even if you want to take it up as a career going head forward, there might be times where there will be the ups and downs. And as we see as of now, still after we've talked about entrepreneurship for long, but a very traditional parent might not take it up as a professional that he would dream of their children going into. So to understand that, ma'am, what strategies can we as educators use to encourage students to explore entrepreneurial paths as more stable and viable career options in this rapidly changing world? So over to you, Tejaswi ma'am.
Thank you, Pooja, for the question. So as an educator, what I feel is you always have to start young, because when you start young, you kind of your mindset is formed in that way. So in schools, what I believe is the strategies that we can follow to ensure that we have a stable entrepreneurship journey, or even entrepreneurship, as our previous speakers, Mr. Saurav and ma'am, has said, that it doesn't have to be starting a business. It has to be about creating that mindset of having leadership qualities, about having design thinking, creative thinking, and also the main life skill I think entrepreneurship courses contribute to the child is the life skills of how you can how you can be resilient in times of challenges, or how when you give case studies in school. For example, one of the strategy is when you're teaching social, or when you're teaching any subject, when you integrate all of them, and why don't you give the case studies of how different people have attempted it, talk about the pros and cons, where they have gone wrong. It gives them a deeper understanding into it. And also, what I would like to say is in your curriculum, also, if you kind of make everything project based or real time based, then the children also will understand on the real life how to attempt it, and what are the challenges that can come across, and how do they, when they work in teams, they kind of listen to different children's objective or perspective in it. And I feel when all this is done in schools, there is also a sense of responsibility where the schools have to educate the parents on what courses we are doing, or why we are doing a particular program, so that the parent also understands and is supportive to the school in terms of encouraging the child at home also. Uh, there are other strategies like what I would say is like have a small startup fund in the school environment, where the children pitch ideas, and you can involve your alumni, you can involve guest speakers, or like from across so many industries, and not only the successful ones, but the ones who have tried and failed. And not only in business field, but I think you can get scientists on board. You can get, because everyone who have tried to start up something new, like let's say it could be a different branch, or doing some research. So they will also talk about their life journey, and that's how the children get that mindset. And you can ask them to shadow a particular, give them internships. It so this all this way, even if you're working as a CEO in a company, I think you need to have entrepreneurial skills, because what I feel is in today's, we are just facilitating our children for something they don't know yet what they're going to work tomorrow. And also, like, I feel with a lot of subject integration, like as ma'am said, you have financial literacy, you have social entrepreneurship, where if you help them providing some social impact or a cause, I think that will they will be more interested in it, and be more uh, find some kind of purpose in uh, causing a change or driving an impact in the world. And yeah, all this can be done through how the teacher takes a classroom, or how your assemblies are conducted, what kind of competitions you're giving in the school. And when you involve parents, especially parents who are working in different classes, that community of parents, when they share their experiences, even I think they form a supportive environment for the children. And this way, I feel the child at a school level itself will try to understand what is entrepreneurship, and whether what are the challenges that come to it, or what are the pros, or he can explore himself. So this is what I feel we should, as a school, we should do it.
Yes, ma'am, definitely. As you brought across, I think the whole idea lies in giving them that exposure,
Yes.
giving that freedom. Of course, again, the risk-taking aspect comes here, where we believe in it, and we make them believe as well that yes, this is a doable option, and you can explore it. Of course, once we know we've given them the exposure, and they understand whether is it the way forward they would want to take or not. So at least they've made the choice, And as you mentioned that the earlier we start, the better it is.
It
So
is.
definitely, we have also been discussing the ages at which we should start entrepreneurship in our previous sessions as well. And we've got inputs like people have started saying even from 6 to 8 years is where we can start the taking them through that journey. Yes, of course, maybe not in that detail, but start instilling small ideas and aspects about the same. So thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your inputs about that and helping us understand that how we can actually take the journey forward to make this as their other career option. Now, my next question as we move forward is for Neha, who herself is an entrepreneur and that too a successful one. Neha, with all the new things coming up, last decade has seen lots and lots of changes. Uh, what emerging trends and technologies like online platforms or maybe virtual incubators are transforming the entrepreneurship education and boosting the youthpreneurship in fostering student innovation? So what has been your experience and what would be your inputs for the same?
Right. Thank you, Pooja, for the question. Well, I feel as you clearly mentioned, the past 10 years, a lot has changed. And I am someone who actually gone through a step-by-step process of different stages. In last 10 years, I was a student. I was a postgraduate student. Then I was into a corporate, strong, MNC corporate structure. Then I completely switched to entrepreneurship. So in past 10 years, as the technology was changing, I feel my career, the choices which I made and lots of learning was changing in similar manner. I'm not sure whether the graph was going in right upward direction or which direction, but it was surely changing parallelly. Because we are talking about entrepreneurship today, and this is something which I always want to do since my 12th grade. So I'll tell you, it's not just about online virtual incubators or online modules and all of that. All of those portions were available in past 10 years also. Maybe the way we see the content, accessibility, a bit more involvement of the founders, like the real founder stories and all of those things have started coming along a lot into all of these modules. But in terms of, if we just talk about studying this particular domain through books, it was also available in past 10 years, 8 years, 7 years, all of that last decade cycle. In terms of what has actually changed is how we are doing the implementation of these module in the real life. So that plays a very, very important role. When I finished, just to give you an example, what I'm trying to say here, when I finished my post-graduation in London, I knew that I am a very good student in manufacturing process related to aerospace degree. And in my school, because I was in Army Public School, I did study. I had some, our school was, school teacher were really kind enough. They used to we had a couple of classes related to entrepreneurship and how to start a business, because I had this in my mind. 11th and 12th, I did a few of the subject outside my school also. No, there was not much boom of online courses. So I did had physical, study of like past business model study of few of the old entrepreneurs, like generation older than mine. But none of them actually helped, because when you go through a particular module, that if you have to compare it, you compare it with today's MBA degree, right? So it's almost similar. Like maybe the context of technology has changed, but on surface level it's same. So when I did my postgraduate in engineering and I did all that study, I thought, and we started along with my co-founder. We started, I think that was in year of 2015, and we failed miserably. And I could not understand that what went wrong. We did study it for so long. And, as a matter of fact, I even got a degree from, I came back to India. I thought maybe, so let me read more. Let me get another degree, engineering plus something related to entrepreneurship and MBA. I did from IIM Bangalore then. Then also, I'm going to be very, very honest here. It was not a much of any big help, because what you see on paper, like on a theoretical aspect, and what actually happened in the real world of entrepreneurship is a very, very different thing. How exactly we can help in student? You've just mentioned one word about incubation, and Tejaswi ma'am also mentioned about some allotment of fund, which we say like we can do it in form of incubation center or some kind of accelerator program for the school student. There is a saying that nowadays there are so many college dropout who's doing great business. They are, if you see like a proper in-depth report of it, they are not actually college dropout. They had a good enough exposure in their A levels. Either they are connected with a good incubation center or some kind of venture or some kind of accelerator who has supported these students when they are in 10th, 11th, 12th student. So they have enough good specific knowledge about at least a career pathway in terms of entrepreneurship, that what exactly and how exactly they want to implement the thing. In India, it's currently happening slowly. For example, TiE, it's a very big global platform. Saurav sir has just mentioned a very, very important part, which is very harsh to hear, but very, very rightfully he mentioned that part, that entrepreneurs don't have much time in their hand, and we are not really sure how much they can actually go and help student in terms of giving them that kind of exposure, what can be done in the real world. But these organization, them coming and collaborating through school, either directly collaborating through school or collaborating through education company who are already there in the edtech sector, who can provide this platform to the school student. For example, if I was just giving an example about TiE, so TiE, it's a global platform and they work with global startup. There's a TiE USA, India, Africa, UK. Like it's a global platform where startup who have launched IPO to unicorns to just the first time startup founder, they are working with them, and they've launched a program. It's called TiE Juniorpreneurs, and it's only for school student. Normally it becomes very, very difficult, let's say, for student to get connected with these kind of organization and to have that a complete process flow. So what exactly we can do? So having an access to these kind of incubators and accelerator, either directly school can do it with these kind of organization. If not, then we can do through an education partner or education company who can actually provide our child that ecosystem, so that in case they are someone who wants to go and explore this domain. And I feel, why not? I mean, the way the technology is changing, like the future in next 5 years is going to be very, very drastic. We ourselves, like being there in the industry, we see it's not like jobs are going, it's more about more technological advancement are coming, in which either we have to be very, very much prepared if we are looking just to do a particular job in with a particular company. So very high level upgrade of the skill segment. If we are not able to reach that portion, and if we have some innovative idea and we want to not be dependent on that 9 to 5 job, and and it doesn't have to be very, very innovative idea. It could be a very small thing, and you want to create an employment for yourself and couple of people around you, that would also work. Why not? So I feel right in the school, these kind of ecosystem is very much required. And you can name them anything, incubators or accelerator. So these kind of group, they can come and they can give the real life exposure to the student. So once the student is 17, 18-year-old and they just finished the school, they don't have to wait to either to finish college or just to start or fail. And actually that's the reason why so many 70% of the startup globally, they fail miserably. And it has nothing to do with your degree, it has nothing to do with your idea. It's just the whole process, the whole ecosystem itself is very, very difficult. Sometime I had one of my very dear friend, she was there in Shark Tank also when we presented our idea there. After that, they even got a very big funding, but the startup is shut today. So so many factors is actually dependent in this entrepreneurship world. And student feel very bad once your idea doesn't work. Either it's not selling, either maybe there's not enough demand, or you don't have access to fund, you're not able to find the right people to work on with you on this particular particular project, or you're not, you don't have an access to right kind of technology. There could be some 100 different factors because of that, your whole startup or whole idea could come down crashing. So I feel if we could provide our student in 10th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, those 4 years, and we don't have to, because students already have so much on their plate. Right, so it's not like we are giving an extra burden to student. We are just incubating everything within their academic subject itself, whether they are studying science or maths or geography or even history. Through these organization, through these accelerators, we can take a help. If you want to study about history, know all about the materials in Egypt and pyramids and all of those things, and create a startup around it, why do we actually have to go back and start from the scratch? If we can be associated with something, some kind of organization who can actually give a hand holding to our student, so that immediately right after 12 they can actually try it out, because they are still very young. This try it out 17, 18, 19 year old, they can go to college, keep on working on it. So I feel that can be a very good step for all the students, to, if in case they want to go and try out entrepreneurship. And also entrepreneurship, again, it's not just about starting your business. Even if you are going and trying out things for, I've seen so many people, they just go and try out things for 1 and 2 years. They learn so many different skills. They learn the hiring skill, they learn the product skill, management skill, and marketing skills. So many different skills they learn, and having that add-on in your portfolio, believe me, it is much, much more better than having that 8 years of non-stoppable degree. Once you do undergrad, then postgrad, then MBA, then PhD. Go out, just try it, just learn yourself. Or even if you going and joining some startup and just seeing and working with them for 1 year, that also called an entrepreneurship. Now, because national education policy has mentioned that we should provide some kind of internship opportunity to the student, so many startups are open. So with us, we have 250 startups of Shark Tank India, and they are literally dying, and they're looking out in the market to be associated with student. Because us as a startup, we get, it's a free labor. We get so many students with bright mind and so much of idea right out of the student who can work on my different projects. B, once these students, because these startup chooses these students very, very carefully, very smartly. We only, I think last month we acquired one of the students' project. I know if he could have taken it, I mean, that was his parents' choice. They wanted to sell it, so we bought it. If I'm sure if that child would have taken that project for another 3-4 years, it would have turned out a very big company. You never know. So I feel either you work with a startup or you work on some idea, just for the sake of learning something new. You can go back to your job, you'll learn a lot of skill, you'll have a lot of good networking opportunity. So it has to be an overall ecosystem. It can't be just coming through the modules or online courses, or just seeing going through some books of MBA, which can teach you some shortcut. At the end of the day, it just all comes down to how exactly you perform in real world, how well you are connected, the networking opportunity, if you have worked with someone, if you have worked on any particular, are you even aware of any particular tool, or we are just talking all theoretically? So many factors. You don't have to know everything. One thing, I feel that is more than enough to start your first stepping stone. And I feel kids have nothing to lose when they are 18 to mid 25 or even to late 20s. They have nothing to lose. So go out, explore, try. But there has to be a process. The whole process become very painful if we don't have anything where we can look upon and get an idea and get some inspiration that what should be our next step. So that is my 2 cents on it.
Thank you so much, Neha. Of course, everything that you said resonates here. And a very practical aspect that you brought out is that because the students are fresh, they have their fresh ideas, and they definitely want to make the difference. So if they are given that hands-on experience, they are able to come up with wonderful ideas, which might eventually turn up to be maybe having a huge turnover businesses, or even just an innovation that can help in any of the other sectors. So kind of reaffirming the same concept, I would also like to share that generally what happens is internships and such experiences are considered as distractions. So we do have Gayatri ma'am also sharing a very important aspect, saying that the children need to first go and work for 3 to 5 years, gain that experience, and then start up their journey. Because then what happens is they understand how the departments work. And I think we just need to kind of bring that collaboration together, so that the internship that you were talking about, we just need to bring in the different factors, collaborate, and then help the students take their journey forward. Because of course they're full of energy, but at the same time they also need a proper mentoring and proper guidance, that of course people like you who have been through the journey and other startups as well can help them understand and experience. So thank you so much, Neha, for helping us understand how they can take their journey forward. And of course, contemplating that there might be failures, but that is whole idea of learning. We need to learn, take the best of the lessons, and then move ahead. Now I would like to quickly come to our second round of question, and I will be requesting my panelists to uh, answer in a sentence or a two. And it is like just going back and traveling in the time machine. So my question is, first, I'll just start with Aarti ma'am. Ma'am, and it's a common question for all the panelists. For Neha, I'll have to kind of twist it a bit. So ma'am, if we were to travel back in time and be a student again, which field would you pick for your youthpreneurship journey?
Um,
Yes, Aarti ma'am.
thinking what to say. But yes, it would be social work because I come from a convent and where we were encouraged to do a lot of social work. And the seed of social work, as sowed as early as possible, it helps us to grow. Otherwise, when you grow up, everybody wants to become rich, wealthy, have a big car, but nobody wants to help the poor or the downtrodden. So I think social entrepreneurship is where we should start with, so that children at least understand, they're empathetic, they feel about the other person, because that has finished off now. So if it was sowed at that time, I think some part of it, maybe we are still carrying it. I don't know what the future will have.
Great, great, ma'am. That is, of course, another very important aspect of any community to grow. So we've got uh, social entrepreneurship here. Saurabh, sir, what would be your field?
I actually had a very bright idea when I was a kid, but unfortunately, Lalit Modi beat me to it. Uh, I, I I always felt that the Indian Premier League, or a league format in cricket would work fantastically, because I used to watch a lot of the Premier League as a child. And I always wondered, when we are so crazy about cricket in the country, apart from the national team, why don't we have something else going on? Of course, I didn't have the money, the resources, and AeroBay was not available to give me advice at that time. But had it been circumstances been different, I think that's what I would have done.
Oh, wonderful, sir. But sir, then that opens doors for another things. Maybe we can have an IPL for educators, because nowadays we've got kabaddi, we've got every other sport coming up. But
Yeah.
thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for that wonderful idea. Yeah, now my next, the same question is for Tejaswi ma'am. Ma'am, what would have been your field?
My field would be, I think, in having zero waste sustainability products. I think it's nowadays it's great picking up, especially upcycling products, and a lot of products are being reused, and these pre-loved products and all. So I think I would start my journey in that.
Oh, wonderful, ma'am. Of course, that also touches our SDG concept,
Yes.
where nowadays we are aiming towards 2030, and sustainability has become the core essence for us to leave this planet in good hands for our generations to come. Thank you so much, ma'am. And before I move on to Neha, I would like to request all my educator friends as well, those who have joined, to drop in their ideas as well, as in, if taking you back to your childhood, which field you would like to choose. And Neha, since you've already chosen one for yourself, could there be any other that you would have given a thought about? So we would love to know that.
No, actually, I think luckily, touch wood, I did in my life what all I wanted. Like I wanted to be an aerospace engineer, so I did that. I wanted to work with Boeing, so I did that. I wanted to come back to India, start something in manufacturing and education sector, so I did that. So in terms of what I wanted to do, I was lucky enough that I always had people who guided me, supported me, and always showed me the right way and gave me a lot of motivation to do what I want to do. But the only thing I feel, if it was in my control, if I'll go back like some 10, 12 years back, I would not choose the same process of education pathway. Like I wouldn't have done my post graduation. I feel after undergrad I should have just gone out and worked more and get more kind of experiential learning. If I would have done that, definitely I'm sure today in terms of on technology level and also on the content level, AeroBay would have been providing more amazing opportunity to the students. Like maybe we could have been able to collaborate with some European industry or some big industries in India also, where we could have connected these students and get better manufacturing, better products, and better working prototypes in the school. Something we could have done more better. Now also we'll do it, but it will take more time. So if I could have, if I'll go back and someone give me an option again, so I'll quit. I'll leave this 7 year of learning rigorous process. I'll just finish my school, do undergrad, and just work with more people with different skill, technology, manufacturing, designing, marketing, finance. Finance plays a very, very important role. Financial literacy segment. All of those portions I could have done better, but field domain I would have remained same.
Okay, wonderful. And the points that you touched have also been given as feedbacks in our chat box itself. We have educators talking about that we need to have financial literacy provided to the students. And I can see in the chat, we've got collaborating with bioinformatics with AI and then about career options and financial education. Then we've got educators who would like to do something in media, and we do have an interesting input coming that freedom from free internship is or free pureship that I can understand. So basically, if we take it forward, I think it was already mentioned that anything, there are no freebies, and anything that comes in free is never kind of appreciated much. So everything needs to have its core value. It might not be in a monetary manner, but of course there has to be a value for the kind of efforts even the students put in. So if there are any other inputs, we would love to hear it from our audience. You can just share it in the chat box because I can see the amazing ideas dropping in. Well, I always keep saying in every session that we do is that I wish I was born maybe after 20 odd years, not guessing my age, because that would have the kind of education, the shift that it has seen and how student-centric it has become, giving so many opportunities to students. It would have been wonderful. And I think the complete journey of the learner has taken a new role altogether, and as well as the educators. We always kind of discuss that we educators have become the facilitators for them. So with this, I would like to thank all the amazing educators who have joined us today. And before I give my thank you note, I will request Nilanj, my team member, to kindly post the feedback form link in the chat box for the educators to fill in so that we can go through your feedbacks and, of course, take the input for our next coming sessions. Any of the topics you would like to cover, please do let us know. And it will also be meant for your certificate. So kindly fill in the details clearly so that we are able to send you the certificates, which will reach to you within 2 to 3 working days. Now, I definitely would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to my amazing panelists who gave such amazing inputs. Every time I listen, and it's so much to take away home. I have a whole diary full of inputs and takeaways for me. So thank you so much for Aarti ma'am. Thank you so much, Saurav sir. Thank you so much, Tejaswi ma'am. And Neha, thank you so much for bringing in that perspective and helping us understand the journey of youthpreneurship. I will request you all to kindly stay tuned for the further updates, because we have 3 more sessions lined up on 14th, 20th, and 27th of this month in collaboration with AeroBay, where we're going to explore different aspects of understanding STEM education, experiential learning, and how we can take this journey forward together along with technology. So thank you so much once again, everybody, those who joined us today. We look forward to have you on board with us once again for our coming sessions. In case if you're not able to join not open the link as of now, no issues. It will be sent forward to you on your mails as well as WhatsApp. So we'll make sure that the feedback reaches us and the certificates reach you. So this is me, Pooja Yaduvir, saying thank you, Jai Hind, once again to all my esteemed panelists and the educators for
Thank
joining.
you, everyone. Thank you, Pooja. It was really lovely hearing everyone. Thank you so much once again.
Pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, and for the great insights. And thank you, Pooja, for moderating so well. It's really a pleasure to be a part of this.
Same here, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Gayatri ma'am, for the amazing inputs. We loved interacting with you.
Would love to share more, ma'am.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Please keep dropping in, and we hope to see you in all our upcoming sessions.
Definitely. Thank you.
Thank you, Pooja ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all.
Oh, Sarita ma'am, pleasure to see you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Pooja ma'am, Google Form is not working.
Okay, it is asking for a permission, correct?
Yeah, madam.
Yes, yes,
So not an
yes.
issue. We will open it up, sir. Not an issue. We'll be sharing the link on your WhatsApp also.
Okay, okay, madam.
On your
Okay, thank
WhatsApp
you.
and your email IDs.
Thank you,
And
madam.
Pooja, ma'am, you have in line so many workshops coming up. So
Yeah.
you'll be sending us a reminder again. It is very interesting and useful workshop for us.
Yes,
Thank you
ma'am.
so
We'll be adding you to our broadcast list, and we also have our community, so you can join us at on LinkedIn and Facebook, and as well as our WhatsApp groups. We'll be adding you to the groups.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Pleasure, ma'am. Pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Pooja ma'am. Thank you so much.
Pleasure, ma'am. Good to have you.
It's always pleasure to have you in sessions. Love you.
Same here. Thank you so much.
You make it so lively.
Ma'am, thank you so much. That means a lot. My day is made. But ma'am, I'll be requesting all of you to do join us for the coming sessions also, because it's always good to see a full house.
Yeah, thank you. Sure, we'll be doing.
Waiting, ma'am. Thank you so much.
We leave now, right?
Yes, ma'am. Nilansh, you can stop the recording, please.